Hi, my name is Crystal Anokam, and welcome to my photography YouTube channel. With that, today we are going to talk about, does camera gear matter in photography? When it comes to photography, there has always been a debate on the importance of camera gear. On one end, some people believe that camera gear is important, and the better your camera gear, the better the photographs you'll produce. Whereas on the other side of the spectrum, there are people who don't believe that camera gear matters and we shouldn't worry ourselves with the specifications and the minute details of certain, camera equipment. Now, while there may be truth to some or to both parties, it isn't the complete full truth. And personally, I believe that camera gear doesn't matter as much as we think it might be in photography, and here's why. Number one, it's important for us to learn with what we have. So as you're entering into the realm of photography, it is important to actually go out and shoot. And by that, you are able to practice, shooting with the camera. You're able to practice the little technical aspects of it. So like ISO, aperture, shutter speed, as well as the type of photography that you don't like to shoot. So when I first started out, I was pretty much shooting everything. I was shooting weddings, I was shooting parties, I was shooting fashion shows, I was also doing portraiture, landscape, and all of that. And I was able to realize very quickly that I hated shooting events. I didn't like the process of it. It ended up being more tedious in the editing phase, and it also didn't give me a chance to really connect with my subject. And that's how I was able to realize that I like shooting portraiture, that I like shooting landscapes, because of the amount of time I put to practice photography. The second reason camera gear doesn't matter in photography is that an expensive camera doesn't guarantee that you will make photographs that mean something. So by that I mean, there's a common misconception that the more expensive your camera gear is, the greater your chance of telling a photograph that will connect with somebody. That isn't always the case, because there's a lot of things outside of just the camera itself that makes a great photograph, such as composition, using lines, subjects. There's other matters and other components to a photograph that make the photograph besides just the camera. And sometimes we tend to get confused at who's actually creating the photograph. The photograph is only captured by the camera, but the person behind the camera, the person looking through the viewfinder, the person who determines when to press the shutter, which is you and which is me, that determines how great our photographs is. We are the person who adds a story or captures a narrative of something that's happening. We are the ones who follow light wherever it goes, or follows our subject wherever they go, and create photographs that tell stories and that connect with our audience. Now, we have to remember, camera is just a tool, but we are the people who carry that perspective through our photographs. A lot of images that I've taken that I've really resonated with and that I love were taken on entry level DSLRs or even film point and shoots. Like last winter, I went to Nigeria with my family, and even a couple months ago when I went to Jamaica, some of my favorite photographs were captured on a point and shoot camera. I actually have the camera here. They were shot on this camera. It's very small, very unassuming, and a lot of the photographs I created were things that I loved, of my family, of my newfound friends, as well as when I first started photography and was getting it wet. I had a Nikon D3200 with I think it was 18 to 55 millimeter kit lens. I shot with that for a few years before I even bought. I sold that to buy a new camera. So really, the point of you being a photographer is really to capture your perspective and how you see the world. Like, no two photographers are the same. Like, you could take the same picture the same way and it will still come out looking a little different. So, you know, the gear is there, you know, the tools are there, but you are the one who brings your unique perspective to the photograph. And the third and final reason why camera gear does not matter in photography is that in order to get better at being a photographer, you have to go out and practice. Like, long story short is you have to make a lot of photographs, you have to try a lot of things out, you have to figure out what you like and figure out what you don't like, figure out why you like photographing, what you like to photograph. And the only way to really do that is to take your camera, whatever camera you have, whatever year it is, whatever make it is to go out and take pictures. There's a book I read last year called Mastery by Robert Greene. I will say it is a little dense and it took me about 6 months to finish reading it, you know, trying to balance it with school. But one of the most important things I got from that book was that in order to become a master, in order to become a great like Einstein or like Mozart or like anyone in history that we can say has made a historical impact, is that we have to put in the time to do so. And in order to become a master, you have to put in 10,000 hours of practice. Now, 10,000 hours sounds like a very large number. I mean, to be honest, it kind of is. And for some people, it might be less than 10,000 hours. And for others, it might actually be more than 10,000 hours. But to really put it into perspective, in order to get 10,000 hours of practice time, that's 20 hours a week for 52 weeks in 10 years. So it basically takes you 10 years of dedicated practice to become a master at your craft, to be a master at a skill, to be a master at anything ultimately. And that's the same with photography. In order to truly become an artist or to become a creative and to take really captivating images that showcase your vision and showcase your perspective to the world, you have to be willing to put in that time to get better. And camera gear in that sense doesn't buy 10,000 hours of time. So like, if you can have the most expensive camera, if you haven't even put an hour into getting better, you're not going to get better, and that camera is going to end up becoming more overwhelming and kind of an obstacle of obstructing, you know, you going outside and really just taking photographs that you love and that matter to you and that make you happy and it makes your friends happy and it makes everybody smile. Like, in order to do that, you just have to practice. And with that, I close. Does camera gear matter in photography? Honestly, I think it's up to you to determine that. I really want you to leave today's video feeling inspired to really create work that you love, create work no matter the camera gear you have. If you have an entry level, if you have a point and shoot, if you have a film camera, or if you do have all that good stuff and all that expensive stuff and things that you've been able to afford, my hope is that after this video, you're excited and you're on fire to create photographs that you love, that make you happy, and at the end of the day, make you feel like you have fulfilled something you love. And that's always a great feeling. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Until next time, peace.